is it worth right now to join dispatching? Tell me why not, why yes?
I would say definitely yes. Definitely that's the right time. When market is great, it's very easy to be a good dispatcher.
Becoming a professional, you will be able to do that only in the bad market. Everyone that joined my team in 2021 are gone.
Are the brokers really necessary in this market?
Definitely not.
How much a dispatcher actually earns?
The market is from 3 to even 10%.
If you want to catch a good load, you should always be present and look at the load board. Like a new load, a good load could appear and disappear in a second.
Trucking42 podcast.
Hi everyone, as you already know, my name is Helen from Trucking42, and this is Alex, the chief of our dispatch department, and Jane, one of our best dispatchers. So today we are here to discuss all about the dispatcher job, all the real stuff, like all about the crisis, everything you need to know about what a dispatcher does, how much he earns, and what should you do as a new dispatcher, when should you start. So let's start with a little bit about yourself. Tell me, when did you start working in this company? How has your experience been so far? Was it easy for you to start learning and start working, and what was your process?
I'm really pleased to be here. Now, if talking a little about the dispatching, I started around 7 years ago. I worked as a dispatcher. Now I'm, let's say, a dispatch manager, right? Basically, what I can say is in the beginning, working as a dispatcher was really cool. I enjoyed working as a dispatcher because it's, you have to always plan. That's the most important thing that I liked about dispatching is you are planning loads ahead, you are booking ahead, and you are trying to get those drivers booked with the best gross and rate and everything. So yeah, this is basically it. If talking, I was working as a dispatcher only 2 years. After that, I was a supervisor. Then I became a manager.
What's better, to be a manager or to work in dispatch?
Well, when you get to the manager side, I think it's better to be a manager. Just for me.
What do you think, Jane? Would you rather be a manager or stay in dispatching?
So honestly speaking, I would rather stay as the dispatcher because the job is really interesting and it's like it brings you a lot of adrenaline and you feel like every day is different, every day is difficult, and in the end, once everyone is booked, you feel a lot of satisfaction. So.
Okay, and what's the hardest thing you have to do in your job, like the most stressful part?
Well, I would say the most difficult part is to overcome that pressure that comes from all the sides, from the drivers, from the owners, from the brokers, from everyone. So and from myself,
and from my manager,
from the manager, and from myself as well. Because if I don't like the way I booked my driver, I'm not happy. So
of course, just to basically clarify for everyone, let's talk a little bit about what a dispatcher does every day. Like 5 steps he has to go through daily. And for people to understand, why is this the hardest part of the job you're doing? Who can chip in with that? Maybe you, because you're a dispatcher daily.
Yeah, sure. So let me start with the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Jane. I'm 25 years old, and I came in the industry 5 years ago. This is my 5th year working as a dispatcher. Let me tell you how the day goes. So we start with the morning routine. So what's about the morning routine? We start with the updates. So we talk with the drivers. We ask them how are they doing, where are they, and after that we update the brokers. After everyone is updated, we can start booking loads.
May I say?
Please.
Yeah, the first thing, basically we're checking everything what was happening over the night, right? We're taking all the updates, everything what was happening during the night, and then we're getting the updates and moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, the most interesting part, the booking. So the best time for booking is between 7:30 a.m. Central Time till I would say 10:30 a.m. Central Time. After that, load board is too slow. So after we're done with booking, hopefully we're done by noon with the booking. We help drivers to get loaded. We update the brokers and hopefully once the day is over, we complete the after-hours spreadsheet with information so the after-hours dispatcher can help.
after 10:30 a.m., let's say you've booked all your drivers, what do you have to do next? Like, are you linked to your computer? Do you have to still stay in your job, or you're pretty much free to, like, what are your activities mainly after 10:30, let's say?
It really depends on the day. Sometimes it's a lucky day and everyone comes to the ship or gets loaded super fast, no detentions, no problems. And in this case, I can basically look for a load for tomorrow, so I can plan something. But if a day goes not so well, I'll be busy with helping drivers,
the
with
drivers.
calling brokers and shippers, receivers, and
Does it happen a lot that you don't get drivers booked by this time, by 10:30, and what happens to them afterwards? Like, do they go empty? Do they find a lower load or something, like a lower paying, I meant?
Well, the main problem is the crisis, because the brokers treat carriers in a very bad way. So normally all the trucks are booked by noon, but then some problems might appear. What kind of problems? Like cancellations. They sold the load cheaper to someone else, and they're just canceling on you at the last moment, and it's too late to book something else. So
Thank you.
But if looking like if the dispatcher has to be on his working place after he booked all his drivers, literally yes. I mean, even if we're talking about that, let's say everything runs smooth, he still has to make updates, to do updates to the broker and stuff, so he has to be there. Sometimes you can do that over the phone, but literally if there is a cancellation, as Jane said, you cannot do that over the phone, so you have to be in front. The computer has to be really somewhere near of you.
Let's just say that if you have your laptop with you, Wi-Fi, and your phone, you can be anywhere located, right?
Yes,
Your
but with the
working
laptop, I would say you cannot literally
Work as fast.
work as not as fast. We are talking about how many drivers you can handle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like no, well, I meant, of course, the booking part where you have to look on load boards and everything. We would advise that to be like with free computers in front of you, where you can check one load board.
Yeah,
Well,
free
you, I
monitor.
guess you,
Yeah.
we as a company, I mean.
Free screens, you mean?
Yeah, like free screens where you can check a load board here, another one here, and communicate with drivers on the other screen. That's right. But I meant after you booked all your drivers,
Yeah.
right? And you don't have any urgent cases or something like that. It's you're pretty much
Yeah,
able to
that's
handle
right.
everything from your laptop, right?
Right.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
yeah, but if cancellation happens, we need to go back to the desk normally. So
Okay, that's
laptop
very
needs
important.
to be around the computer.
So, like, if you feel that that's a sketchy broker or something wasn't as clear or something like that, you better, like, don't leave your desk. It's up to you. Like, if something happens, you're the one that has to solve it very quickly. So it's your risk that you're taking.
I never leave. I don't like the feeling that somebody's waiting for me. I need to come back and stuff like that. So
Okay, that's good.
Responsible dispatcher.
What?
She's a responsible dispatcher, but I know like people that are really working even from the laptop. So
Okay, that's the thing that I want to transmit here to everyone. Yes, this is a very responsible, engaging job. You should be almost all the time at your computer to make sure, especially if you work independently, because like if you work in a company, obviously there are people that can react for you. Let's say that if you're
Help you out,
yes,
right.
help you out. If you're independent, you are in charge of all these processes. So obviously this is a little bit harder. Okay, let's start with another question. Basically, is it worth, you mentioned the crisis, is it worth right now to join dispatching? Tell me why not, why yes?
I would say definitely yes. Definitely that's the right time, because now the times are very difficult, and it's a good idea to have a good school exactly during these times, because when everything is great, when market is great, it's very easy to be a good dispatcher. You can go anywhere, and all loads going anywhere are good. So basically it's not difficult to be a dispatcher. But now when the market is bad, you need to plan, you need to build a route. So that's why now it's a good time. It's a good school now, and those who will be able to graduate, let's say, those will be successful dispatchers in the future.
Great. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, if we are talking about getting a good, let's say, becoming a professional, you will be able to do that only in the bad market. You cannot become a professional dispatcher in a good market, and if you will think that you are a good dispatcher when you started in a good market, then definitely you're gonna suffer and you're gonna struggle when the bad market comes.
It's the same like we've seen now. I think with the trucking companies that are leaving the market now and are going bankrupt. All of them, like there is a huge number of them that joined in 2021 when the rates were like huge. And now, because the market has gone back to what we would normally see before the pandemic, because if you compare the chart, you can see that the 2019 rates were pretty much the same as today. The only thing that changed, obviously, are the expenses that the drivers have. So, but the rates are pretty much the same. So, obviously, everyone who joined at $5 per mile, am I right with the rates? Am I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about companies, motor carriers, right? And we're talking about dispatchers. It was the same thing.
Same.
Everyone that joined my team in 2021 are gone.
Yeah, because
Nobody's there.
only the ones who literally had the experience and the skills are able to stay. So that's why you, as new dispatchers who join now instead of when a bad or a good market. Like imagine if you joined at Christmas, right, when the rates are amazing, and then you got to the quiet season, which is going like in January, February. You'd obviously be shocked. Okay.
So you have to join now.
Yeah, now.
So that's only for the dispatchers, not for the carriers.
Yeah, carriers, there are a lot of them already.
Well, actually, for the carriers, there are some benefits as well. There are always advantages and disadvantages when it comes to joining any business, I guess.
Yeah, but
in any market.
But to be honest, there are a lot of carriers from 2021 that still haven't left, and the number is so big that this is probably what's causing problems in dispatching now, right? If we're talking about the crisis, like the number of the carriers got so huge that there are a lot of truck drivers, carriers booking.
I would say that there is a big load demand first, and then it comes that there are too many trucks for this amount of loads. So we're not talking about the market got really with a lot of trucks. It's more about loads. When it came that the demand of the loads got slower, then we have too many trucks for this.
So basically now we have just less loads, fewer loads. Let's
got
say
it. Yes.
The problem is that everything is messed up now. There are indeed too many carriers, but the main issue is that the brokers, they're afraid to ask their shippers and their customers, not the shippers, sorry, their customers for higher rates, and they're just afraid to lose their freight amount, and this is the problem. And they offer to their customers cheaper rate, and of course they take their commission, 20, 30, 40, 50% of the load amount, and this is how it looks. So this is also their issue. They're afraid to let the customers know a decent price, because the customer will pay in any way. They need to move the freight. They need to feed the people, and they need to move the freight. So they will pay any price. But the brokers are too scared, and they let themselves ask for a cheap rate in the early beginning.
I have a question that's controversial and probably will sound a little bit stupid.
Well, the market is overloaded with brokers.
That's what I wanted to ask. Are the brokers really necessary in this market, or are they getting paid right? Are they helping dispatchers in a way, like by existing, or making it harder for dispatchers to work? Let's talk a little bit about that if you want to.
They're an important part. We cannot delete them
Exclude
from
them.
the system, exactly, because big companies, they have a lot of freight, so they need someone who will be responsible for that. So the carrier cannot be talking to the customer directly.
Yeah.
There will be too many issues, too many things to discuss and stuff like
They
that.
have to worry about warehousing, how to transfer all this information. Like they have inside logistics to worry about to take care of
Right.
transportation as well, right? Like if we talk about
Exactly.
Amazon, for example.
Exactly. We're talking about the broker has the part not only taking the responsibility, because the main actual responsibility will be on the carrier if anything happens with the freight, but we're talking about more about organizing how the freight moves, how to do a lot of partial loads, make one load and then deliver it there, and you can. So basically, when we're talking that the shipper needs to move freight, he just have, I don't know, he has the freight, he has the quantity, that's all that he has. Everything around it is actually organized by the broker, like
So
even
they
doing
are
those
needed.
files, everything, like organizing the freight, how it will be moved, who will be moving, when, doing the appointments, everything.
Do you agree with the way they get paid though?
Well,
Definitely not.
well, actually, if talking about the payments, well, fair enough for who?
For,
problem is
for,
the
for the carrier,
negotiations.
for anyone else, because like look, the dispatcher, right, we get a I'm not a dispatcher, guys. You get a percentage from like the amount that the truck driver makes, right, the carrier makes. So obviously in your interest, is for the driver to basically have a better amount, like a better
Right.
payment. The broker has the interest of ripping everyone else off and taking more money for himself. So that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I understand. I don't think that the world is a fair place anyway.
You're right.
So if you are talking about having a chessboard, right, and when you have to make the right move, you don't make the moves if the moves are not on the rules. So these are the rules of the game. I mean, when the market is very high, the dispatchers are charging the broker the most amount of money, right?
Yeah.
So they are taking everything they have on that load. Sometimes the broker is getting negative, and the broker is not crying that, oh my God, you're leaving me without money, right? So it is the opposite right now. So I mean, this is the game. This is the rules that they were created. When the rules will change, then we will work on the other rules. There will be another, probably in other space, or in a few years there will be changes, like to make sure that the drivers are fed well and the companies, the motor carriers are respected, are more respected, are more paid and stuff. But the rules of the game right now, if we're talking about the on-spot market, we definitely cannot say it's not fair, or it's fair or it's not. I mean, it's
So a conclusion, it
it
depends
is the way
on...
it was organized.
My opinion is I truly don't believe that brokers ever suffered if we're talking about the money, because I will explain why. Because they're coming to their customers, they're taking the freight, they're taking it for a certain price. Let's say 500 miles load for $1,000. This is what they took from the customer, like real market to per mile. And of course, from this amount, they will take their commission. So anyway, they take their commission. Otherwise, they just wouldn't exist. Of course, the commission were smaller when the market was high, but anyway, I think the guys are doing great.
Don't you think it would be... that's
Are we
the
talking
last-
about the big companies or not? I know a lot of brokers that became bankrupt even in this market. We're not talking about the other market.
That's just because they couldn't take the freight from the customer, because they couldn't negotiate, they couldn't catch it. They offered maybe too high price for the shipment.
No, they lost all their contracts, and it's not all about only the shippers. I mean,
Yeah, but they lost why?
Okay. Yeah, we have the debates here.
Yeah, no, that's good. What I wanted to ask another question though, but I thought we would go too much into brokers. So let's go back to dispatch actually. Let's see and tell everyone basically how much a dispatcher actually earns and how he earns. So let's talk about the average in the U.S. Then I'll ask you another question, but. Let's start with that. Like, as far as I heard, and you can confirm whether that's true or not, a beginner dispatcher in the U.S. independently would get about 3%. A more experienced one would get about 4.5% from the truck drivers commission. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let's talk about that.
Yes, I really definitely agree. The market is from 3 to even 10%. So it all depends the way you can sell yourself, your experience in the market, and what you can literally provide to the carrier. Because there are certain things that you do around the dispatching. So there is accounting, the billing, everything. You can do literally everything for that carrier. You can take less trucks and do all of that, and you can charge him even, I don't know, 6%, for example.
You can offer more services, right?
Right. But it's all around it. I mean, you're delivering the driver delivered the load. He sent you the POD. You are sending it to the factoring. The factoring is sending the money to the carrier. So I mean, the process is not really complicated, even for one person to do all of that.
That's a little bit of like how our company operates. We have more services we provide our carriers. Am I right?
Right. We have a really big wide range of services, but yeah, okay, let's say. We have that as well.
Tell me a little bit more about the crisis we are in today. Like everyone is talking about a crisis. Tell me what's happening right now. Do you think it's going to have better results in the future? Like, is it getting better? And do you think we'll have a big season this year?
All right, so what is happening now? The prices are too low because there are too many carriers. This is one of the reasons why is it happening. So prices are low and brokers treat carriers in a very bad way, so in a very awful way. They cancel loads, they sell it too cheap, they resell it cheaper, and stuff like that. So now we're struggling a lot. And of course, times are going to be better because when I came to the industry 5 years ago, also market was very low. Then it was better, then it's worse again.
So it goes up and down.
Yeah, it goes up and down all the time. So there is nothing new here. And honestly speaking, I just came back from the vacation. I was absent for 1 month, and I can say market is really warmer now. There are more loads, there are better freights, more room for negotiations. So I would say it's getting better, and I hope it will be even better and better.
Yeah, it will be definitely better and better until the end of December and a little bit of January. That's 100%.
And then it will
And
go
after
up
that,
again.
we don't know what will happen. or it will go up or it will go
It
down.
will go
Yeah.
all over again. Well, in January, ice road truckers are making money. In case, but I know you don't work with ice road truckers, but of course, it's a good. Every season is good for somebody. Besides January, that's not good for anyone, right?
I have winter lovers who love chains and snow. I have a driver who hates summer. He's not feeling good when it's hot. So he's a January lover. He told me it's my favorite time to work. So I think this is the only one exception.
Probably because it's the quieter one also, so it's not as stressful maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of drivers stay home or they leave the country to spend some
I
time
would rather
abroad.
die from cold than from warm than from hot, right?
So, do you think the peak season will be as good this year as it was previous years?
Oh, okay.
Or
yeah.
not as big? Not as good.
Well, no, definitely not as good as the previous one because when we got into the season, again, we're talking about November, December, right? Even the first half, sorry, the second half of October, it starts and it ends at the beginning of January. Well, this season is always something that works out. It will always go a little bit up on the weekend on the holidays, on the winter holidays. It will always go a little bit up, but the previous year it was the market was around 2.5 at the point we got into this into
2.5
winter.
per mile, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the 2.5 per mile. It was the average, let's say, for all even type of
Before
trailers.
the peak season.
Before the peak season. And now we get into the market with the 2.2, I guess, 2.3, 2.3. So it will be definitely at least 20 cents less.
20 cents less than previously, but we are still going to see a rise in prices, a rise in demand, and like we will have a peak season for this year we had now, but not as good compared to the other years, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hopefully not, but
Yeah, hopefully we don't get that 20 cents loss. Hopefully
it goes
everything
to
is
3
good.
per mile again, and we all celebrate.
Yes, of course. What do you advise people in the peak season? 2, 3 things, one thing maybe.
In the peak season.
Oh, no, in the low season, I wanted to say. Thank you for correcting.
I would advise to all dispatchers to be patient because this difficult time, it will be gone. So better times are coming and less stressful times are coming, and I would advise to be patient.
But what do you mean by patient? Like book the worst loads you have just to go ahead?
Exactly,
Or just
and
how
to live with it normally, because every time I book a bad load, I start blaming myself, like, how come? What kind of logistic is this? What are we going to do next? What's the next step? Like, let's say I'm moving from a bad area to a bad area because I have like no choice. The market is so bad. So I'm blaming myself. And this is not a good thing in general because
For your mental health.
Yeah, we need to stay positive all the time, regardless what is going on outside. I mean, around us. So this is a very important thing.
It means meditate a lot. Because there are a lot of people that are not happy with the results that are happening right now. So the dispatcher is really gets stressful from everyone around. It's I mean this is why this job is really paid a lot, because it's a really stressful job. This is the first point, I would say. This is the most important point, that the dispatcher is the person who can take a lot of stress on himself. So that's why I'm saying go and meditate and be in peace with yourself, because there are a lot of people asking, everyone is asking for the result. The drivers also, the same thing. I want miles, or I want rate per mile. The owner, everyone is on the head of the dispatcher. So. But
And the
dispatcher
managers.
is the only person who is dealing with the most difficult, important cases, and the same thing as being the babysitter for the driver, explaining then to the owner everything, and trying to build the best relationships with the brokers. So, yeah, I guess
Yes, of
you
course.
have to be really.
So in terms of patience and mental health, I understood that. And another thing that I think I spoke with Eugen when I was kind of shadowing him is that if you want to catch a good load, you should always be present and look at the load board. Like a new load, a good load could appear and disappear in a second, in a minute.
Of course, it takes 2-3 seconds. The first call, the broker takes the first call, and I can hear how many calls are coming later after me. So he's removing the load from the load board immediately. So yeah, it takes literally 3 seconds to catch a load.
So
if you're not there, if you were not present, if you're not waiting for it, if you was distracted with something else, like answering someone or anything, just not being at the load board, you will miss it.
So basically, as a final advice, let's say like this, if you want to catch some good loads, you should always be there in the low season, in the bad season,
You need
right?
to start an hour earlier, like come, put everything on its places, post your
6
trucks
a.m.
maybe. Yeah, I think that's the best way. And then you start waiting. So everything is organized and you're just
6
waiting
a.m.
for
Eastern
it.
time. If you live in Pacific, then basically you'll have to wake up at 4 a.m. So
Don't scare the people. But even with this, you can still earn, as an experienced dispatcher, $9,000 to $10,000. Let's make it clear why you're working, guys.
Well,
Right.
there are a lot of advantages too. Like you can see the sunrise if you wake up that early.
Oh.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
I want to ask you basically, what is the amount, let's say the gross profit a driver that you work with would make a month or a week, right? because a dispatcher obviously gets percentage from the gross profit of a driver.
Yeah. All right. So basically, target rate right now in this crisis is $10,000 per week. Of course, it depends on the driver, on everything. It might be from 8,000 right now to 12,000. So I have drivers doing 12,000 with the flatbeds right now with the reefers, and drive-ins are worse right now. So let's say the average is between like 8, 9, 10,000 per week. So let's say the monthly gross is from 25 to $35,000.
So, okay, and how many drivers do you work with right now?
Well, I got 8 drivers.
Okay, and how much time does it take you to deal with 8 drivers?
Whole day long.
That's like 8 hours full time, or even more.
Oh no, I would say 9 to 12 hours per day. So a big shift.
Okay. Do you get them all booked? Like, to make it clear, when you have 9 drivers, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have to book all 9 of them in the same period of time. You have free today to book a load for free tomorrow and something like that. Am I right?
Well, it really depends. On Monday, normally everyone starts early morning Monday, so Monday is always crazy. But
Nobody's in vacation. And all 9 drivers.
All 9 drivers? How do you deal with them?
8.
Well, experience shows that Monday is always easy, because when I feel stressful and I know I have to do a lot, I create a plan in my mind. So I go by the plan all the time, and Mondays are always good for me. So I don't know. Yeah, of course, Tuesday, Wednesday are easier because you send someone further, like going California, New Jersey, across all the states. So yeah, of course, the amount is not that high every day.
So planning is everything on Monday.
Yeah, planning is everything. That's right.
Well, I actually get that. I have the same thing. When I know I have just one script for the whole week or something like that, I have more time to like slack a little bit. Let's say that. When I know I have a deadline and it has to be by this time and I have to create like 4 free scripts, I'm like working like this. I'm very creative. I have a lot of drive, and it's actually easier and a better result when you are more booked, let's say, with a lot of time. Okay, so just to clarify, we have 30,000 average for the driver.
30, right.
A dispatcher, let's say a beginner dispatcher would on average do 3%. Do you want to calculate that like right now? Just to show the people that...
Yeah, $9,000.
So, oh, you already calculated. Okay. So you would say $9,000, who is that for, an experienced or a new dispatcher? Of course, an
the
experienced.
most professional
The
dispatcher.
most, like,
And not
how
only
many
the
years
most
do you need?
professional. I think it's not about the years. I think it's about dedication. Because
Dedication.
if you're coming to this job and you're fully dedicated, you want to build a relationship with every broker, and even if they treat you like not in a best way, you still do not lose your hope, and still you're nice, and still you're patient, and still you try to build a relationship. So that way is the best to get 9,000 as we speak, because you build a relationship with the broker, they start providing you best paying loads directly, and this makes your life easier. You start your day, you chat with some nice guys, they book some of your trucks right away, and then there are a few more left. So yeah, that's about the dedication. If you're fully involved, if you have a goal of feeling here like a fish in your ocean, in your aquarium. So
How much did it take you to feel experienced? For you to feel it, not not Alex as your manager, but you.
Well, it took for me a year.
A year.
Left my previous company. Yeah, I came here saying I'm professional. So yeah, it took for me a year, but I did a lot of mistakes.
Of course.
Mistakes during the year.
Oh, I
Are you still
understand.
doing mistakes?
Rarely, almost never.
No, I mean, without mistakes, we cannot improve.
Yeah.
So we have to
That's
do
true.
them all the time. And everything is changing, and you will always, do something wrong in order to become better and to understand. And to do that better, the next time.
But that's basically what we suspected as a team. Like after we've communicated with our dispatchers a lot, we actually predicted that a year is pretty much the average time you need to work constantly to actually become experienced. Like we actually have a plan. If you're an independent dispatcher, this is how much you should charge until the third month. This is how much you should charge after the sixth month and up to a year, right? To get to the $9,000, $10,000 we are talking about.
Right.
Okay. So, right now that we clarified, oh, sorry.
So you have a course there, right? And is it about, will you be teaching people when to raise the percentage as well?
It's actually, well, it's a plan. It's a free plan, which we can share if people sign up for our free meeting with our experts. Like, it's a free plan we offer. It's not, you don't need to pay for it. And it's basically a PDF that shows the raise through all the months. Obviously, this is based on the average a dispatcher work goes like. So maybe in the 1 to 3 months, you would charge the minimal percentage, right? You don't have experience. You have to outstand yourself.
So you have it as a plan there in the course?
Yes. Up to 3 months, you work with maybe 3 to 5 trucks maximum. Do you agree? 3 months is able. Are you able to do 3 to 5 trucks on up to 3 months, or is it?
It all
too
depends
much?
on the skills and everything, on the involvement, the skills, and what. Yeah, I guess the efforts that you are ready to put there in.
Generally, it's a good number. 3 to 5 for the first month is not bad.
Okay, so up to 3 months, let's say you'd have maximum 3.5 percentage, but 3%, 3 to 5 trucks. So that is our first step. Then when we go to the 3rd to the 6th month, maybe you add some more trucks. You're maybe not ready yet to like raise your percentage, but just like this is the plan that we offer. And of course, after the 6th month, you could consider yourself a little bit experienced. Maybe not the experienced person you would feel all the time. You would still do mistakes and so on, but you could maybe add a 0.5% to your percentage. So in the plan, obviously there is month by month, not in this bigger periods as I'm saying you right now, but it's month by month plan, what you should do, when should you ask for more in percentage, when should you add a truck or maybe exchange the trucks. In the end, you get to $9,000 to $10,000 with 4.5%, which is the average on the market for experienced dispatchers. So that is our goal. It can take a year. It can take 2 years.
Absolutely.
It can take 6 months. We just made it in a year, obviously. The average. Okay. So I think, maybe not the last question, but one very important question I have for you.
Wow. Important question. I like it.
What should you do as a new dispatcher when you start alone or work for a company?
I would definitely advise to join a company first, not to work as an independent dispatcher. Because first of all, there are a lot of mistakes that you're making and you just cannot avoid them. I'll give you an easy example. Like it was my first month working in this industry, and the broker was telling me it's a very clean, nice, recycled product delivering to the Brooklyn, New York. So it was my first and huge mistake, because obviously it was not clean. The trash is never clean. Recycled products are never clean. So yeah, that was the mistake. Also, the place where it was delivering was really bad. So the truck got scratched. So a lot of things happened, and the company took the responsibility, not me. So nobody charged me. I was very young, first month working. So definitely it's better for a dispatcher to start in a company, because the company can help you to grow up.
And when do you think should you switch? Like if you're in the US, right? When do you think you should switch from, let's say you want to maximize your earnings. Obviously, in a company, your earnings are limited because you get a smaller percentage, right, from the total percentage a company has. So let's say you want to maximize your earnings and move. Would you say a year, like the one point where you actually get experience and have some connections, or can you switch earlier?
Well, It's hard for me to say because I'm not
still
even
working.
planning to switch. I'm feeling comfortable working in a company, and I can say why. Because if anything happens with this carrier I'm dealing with, the company will be able to provide me different drivers, different carriers. So it's secure for me, first of all.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't
understand.
switch. And also about the conflict, it happens with all the people. If we get into a conflict with the owner, of course, his first decision is going to be to switch a dispatcher. So an individual dispatcher remains with no work. So I do not find it safe. So I do not recommend doing this. Just in case you feel super safe, super confident, and you're not afraid of anything.
And you have your like own connections. You know how to do marketing, because marketing is a big part of it.
Yeah, exactly. mean-
And we are not talking now about like huge ads, because you don't need to find thousands of drivers.
Right,
You need to find several.
You even have the database free from the FMCSA. You can download it there and start working with those leads.
Like
I mean,
cold
it's-
calling.
Yeah, not only cold calling. Like, all right, yeah, we start with the cold calling first, with some text messages. But if you feel that you got all the experience you need and you can literally book a truck, I think that you will get a chance to work with that. I mean, there is not, there is like 700,000 carriers on the market right now, and I mean, there is plenty of them, so there is no issue for you to at least start with someone and learn together with him. If we're talking about the practice, but all the theory, as far as I know, you have also the practice side on
Yes,
the
we
course,
do, we
right?
do.
In the
Yes,
course,
we do.
right. That's amazing. All right, so yeah, if you have the theory, you have to just book some 2 or 3 real trucks, and that's it. And you can go ahead then. You
Yeah.
will,
Sorry.
you'll improve. Yeah, you'll improve on the way.
What do you think about like a lot of freelancers are doing, for example, in marketing? What a lot of freelancers are doing, they're working in a full-time job, but they're taking side jobs at the start, make gradually like 1 project or 2 projects in the beginning to train themselves in getting people, maintaining them on their own. And after you see this success, you might try to move it at full time, right? Like this would be a good strategy. Don't you think?
Absolutely, I guess that's a good strategy.
What is the biggest mistakes dispatchers do when they're new?
So first of all, let me start with the commodities. Dispatchers do not know exactly what it is, what's the way it's loaded, and many dispatchers do not specify what is used for loading, like a forklift, a crane, a dock. So I mean, a dock with a forklift. So it might be different. So different things might happen with the commodities. Like you took a certain commodity, in the real life it's something different. So it might be.
Yeah, okay, and I'll add here as a second point, like the second biggest mistake is they don't know how to properly do a cancel, but the cancels also come from the mistake that they think that they know that they booked something right, and when they are getting that to the owner, to the manager, right, they understand that this load is not a good load, and they have to do the cancel. So they don't know how to do it, but okay, like booking a load with, let's say, how to call this? Like, let's say, booking a load that is not matching the driver's needs.
Just to specify, could you explain a little bit what you meant by a cancel? So basically, the dispatcher booked a load. He was told that is a specific load. Give me an example of a good load.
So I would say that the example is when you book a load and it's a 3 days job, okay, for $2,000 even. I mean, and it's a it's 4 per mile, and you are looking at this load. It's 4 per mile load, very nice load. I'm gonna take it, but in the end, when you divide it on 3 days, the driver would earn a lot more money. So, let's say this is one of the mistakes the dispatchers might do in the beginning, right?
Like, for example, the driver's expectations are $1,500 per day, and he wants to be at 15. So if it's a 3 days job, it's 4,500 load, and we found it for less rate but for a good rate per mile, and the driver is not okay with that. He's explaining this and we need to cancel.
Okay, I understood. So this is a situation where you would need to cancel and find just a different load.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you have to often, let's say, communicate with your drivers in a way like convince them to get certain loads and things like that?
Yeah, of course. There are different drivers, but most of them, they have no clue what's going on the load board. So you need to explain, like, look, this is the situation. This is the average price. I chose the best from this. Here is it.
So, yeah. So for basically an independent dispatcher, another thing you would need to do is to know how to maintain the relationship with the driver. I think that's for both type of dispatcher, company or independent.
Definitely.
But
And with the broker as
main
well.
part.
Yeah,
I
and with
mean,
the broker.
Very, very important with the broker as well.
Okay.
So the third one would be the cancellation in the last minute. I had this with most of the dispatchers. Like in the beginning, they're afraid to do the cancel. They don't know how to do it. You're teaching them. You tell them this is the script. This is what you have to say, and you go ahead and just cancel the load. And he is leaving it in the last minute because he is just not
afraid.
Yeah, he's afraid. He doesn't know how to do it. He knows the consequences that if he will not cancel the right way, the broker might put a freight guard on you. So they are afraid to do that, and they do it in the last minute.
Don't do it in the last minute,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, just as soon as you know that you have to cancel the load, you just cancel it.
Okay. All right. So I thank you. Thank you for everything you just said. Talk a little bit to the viewers and tell them what advice you would have for them as new dispatchers. Like that is probably the last thing you have to do. And we're just saying bye then.
So should I start?
Please.
Yeah. Hey guys. If talking literally about dispatching, I don't know, but in anything you do in your life, first of all, there is a lot, enormous effort that has to be put in. If then that effort is focused on anything you do in your life, then that will definitely be a successful job or anything you do. So in dispatching, there are the same rules as I use in life. So if you put a lot of effort in something, then you will get to the point you need. So yeah, so work a lot, work hard, and do your best. That's all.
And join now the market.
And join the market now. Yeah.
And Jane?
So young dispatchers, I wish you to set your own target from the early beginning, like to set your professional level, let's say, because it's about everything. Talking to the drivers, taking care of them, talking to brokers, building good relationship, and just do your job accurate. Try to be professional from the early beginning, because everyone likes to work with a professional, not with a beginner. So even if you're a beginner, try to be a professional.
Like as I was saying in marketing, hello, I am an expert on Facebook ads, although I was working for 1 month. But you have to sound professional. The driver, the broker shouldn't know that you're not professional, right? Okay. Sorry if you wanted to say anything else.
No.
Okay. So then thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope it was great for you too.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much. It was, again, very nice being here.
Okay. So thank you, and thank you everyone for watching. I want to remind you guys that we have a truck dispatcher course, and that you are able to study the job like from the beginning to the end, training for all the theory you need and all the practice. And the course was created, built, and verified by our dispatchers, by our team. So it is not something, as you've seen their experience today, you will see it in the course as well. To find out more details about the course, sign up for the meeting in the description, and hope to see you on our podcasts. I think soon we'll have another podcast about if should a dispatcher join a course or not.
Okay, amazing. I want to buy the course already after everything what was said.
All right, so bye everyone, and thank you guys again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Trucking42 Podcast.